very champion. But Rekkles will get his hands on Twitch, the stealth assassin, and of course alongside him will be Morgana for YellOwStaR.
So Fnatic have got a lot of options available to them. A lot of mid lane champions are still up. The Ziggs is there, which is a priority. The Nidalee is available if they want to go for it. sOAZ has trended towards locking a Trundle in for his top lane pick and pairing it with that Nidalee. It gives you the zone control, it gives you disengage power. But the problem that Fnatic ran into in running those champions against the Super Hot Crew is no clear way to make a play happen. They needed to get ahead, they needed to siege with Nidalee, and it wasn't effective enough for them. Super Hot Crew ran them down multiple times.
So SK Gaming choosing to basically force Fnatic to make the first move. They've gone with their support and AD carry, which is Lucian Thresh, the most popular combo back in the spring, and of course that forces Fnatic to make the first move with that top laner or mid laner.
Super safe picks from both of these teams. SK have not revealed anything about how they want to play, but they have the ability to make picks, they have the ability to engage and disengage, and they've got Candy Panda on his most played ADC. He's undefeated on Lucian this split. He's got a 12.5 KDA, so it's a very safe pick from them. Fnatic right now have actually gone for a much more heavy engaged sort of flanking composition, and they've got the makings of a split push team for the time being.
So that means we're going to see sOAZ on Shyvana. It will be Cyanide, on Evelyn. We wonder what Freddy is going to play this. He's got Aatrox currently hovered over. It is a champion he's played, and he's played it against Fnatic a few times.
Yes, he has. It's one of Freddy's sort of go-to champions. I think it would be okay because you can trade with Shyvana. We've been seeing a lot of other top laners running Irelia into Shyvana a few times when the matchup
as well
has been available. Top lane Kayle was something that was talked about last week.
Just played in Korea a couple of times.
We've seen it a few times. So the options are there for SK, but I really like the Ziggs because this denies it from Fnatic. Had they got the Ziggs, it would have been safe wave clear. It would have allowed them to get the poke and buy time for Shyvana and Evelyn to find the flank. Fnatic now need to find good, safe wave clear because they don't have it amongst the rest of their champions. If they ever get into a siege situation, they're at a very big disadvantage because none of their champions can deal with that Ziggs harass and poke.
So will it be the Kayle? When you switch across, Orianna would fit as well, of course, the jump in.
I actually prefer Orianna.
Bombs. Yeah, the stealth delivery system, the ball delivery system. We saw it a couple of times last week in the North American LCS, working to great effect. And of course, with that Ziggs in there, SK Gaming played it very safe. I'm interested to see how Freddy is going to work. Of course, we heard him last week. 100% record on Renekton. Didn't choose to go with that one. It will be a switch for Peke. He is going to go with Twisted Fate.
So let's quickly highlight the Fnatic comp. They've got the ability to flank for team fights with Evelyn, with Shyvana. But what I do like about their solo lane champions of Shyvana and Twisted Fate, it gives them the option to split push and play the map very effectively. The thing is, Fnatic have to punish Jesiz when his Mega Inferno Bomb is down. Because while Fnatic have the tools to play the minion waves in the map, Jesiz on Ziggs can clear them very effectively. Neither team has safe engage. You have to land a Lee Sin Q. Shyvana's got to flank from the side. Evelyn's got to come from behind. Aatrox has to, go for a knockup. So when these teams engage, I think it could be very tentative because they have to land a perfect skill shot on the right target. Otherwise, there's no Leona, there's no Vi, there's no clear standard heavy engage that we're used to seeing.
See how this works out, ladies and gentlemen. With the champions now locked in, who do you think has the lineup advantage? Tweet hashtag SKWin or hashtag FNCWin to @LOLEsports, and we'll see who you think came out ahead in just a few moments. I just want to keep my eye on Peke and wait for him to load up to see whether he switched last minute, because he had Cleanse selected there. Flash Cleanse, he has changed it to Flash Ghost, I was going to say.
Ghost Flash on Twisted Fate is your more standard.
Yeah, I was like, why has he got Cleanse? There's nothing really that warrants it.
And this is something that we were discussing internally regarding last week's games. You've got the Shyvana that's going to need some items and wants to become tanky to eventually affect team fights. Evelyn can affect the psychological presence during the laning phase, but again, needs items to be a big relevant matter in team fights. If Peke gets a good Destiny off early on, he can affect his side lanes and accelerate the rate at which Fnatic can gain control. So those very first ultimates out of Peke are going to be game-changing.
That's how it works out for him, of course, because he needs to get some pressure. And up against the Ziggs in the mid lane for Jesiz, it's a champion he knows all too well. Here we go, though, ladies and gentlemen. SK Gaming starting out as the blue side up against Fnatic on the red side. The first game of week 4 between these two teams. Last time they met, SK Gaming came out on top, despite Fnatic having a very early lead.
We'll have to see how SK handle pulling themselves back into this game. You could argue one of the reasons they pulled themselves back the previous time was the experience gained from the jungle camps. One of the big changes in 4.9 is the bonus experience on jungle monsters from the average level of champions has been removed. So what that means is, as Fnatic were accelerating further and further ahead, SK could farm their jungle up and get larger chunks of experience than Fnatic had because of the fact that average level was higher. That catch-up mechanic or snowball mechanic is no longer available to junglers and teams, so it should even out teams that get very far ahead and obviously prevent teams that are far behind from catching up as quickly.
Well, as we mentioned, we are on 4.9 here. If you have just joined us, this is the first game of the day. It is only a 3-game day as well because, of course, Rocket have got themselves a forfeited victory over the Copenhagen Wolves, unfortunately. However, in this matchup, it doesn't seem... Are we going to have a late invade from Fnatic? They are setting up for it. SK are sitting back, and it's Fnatic that are going for it.
Yeah, it looks like they wanted to try and second-guess Svenskeren on that Lee Sin. You do see Lee's starting at red buff from time to time, but because of a smart ward by SK, they've got full vision and full information of what Fnatic are up to. So it's a safe start for SK in the top half of the map, and it looks to be SK going for a counter invade, but sOAZ is on the red buff himself, so this could get scary.
Oh, sOAZ has walked straight in towards him. He's going to try and run past with a burnout. Good flay comes out of nRated. There's a lot of damage going down, but without the death sentence, sOAZ should escape no problem.
Yeah, and Svenskeren actually started with that Sonic Wave on his Q, so going to slow down his jungle clear just a tiny bit. He needs to take a little more damage. And there's the fan vote swinging heavily in favor of Fnatic.
Yeah, 76% of you liking what Fnatic have picked up here. Freddy himself is having a few issues with Fnatic as well in this jungle. Svenskeren does manage to come around and get that red buff stolen away.
So something I want to highlight about Freddy locking in the Aatrox. It's a smart pick in the current top lane meta because Aatrox can actually sustain and jungle very effectively. Whenever we look at the top lane matchup, it has evolved from a who does better in 1v2 in CS to now who can sustain in jungle, who can get experience, what's your wave clear, what's your sustain. And Aatrox is a champion that has very high marks in a lot of those regards. He's already got an experience and a CS lead over sOAZ, but we need to see how he makes it work, obviously, once they eventually come toe-to-toe.
Yeah, and you can see being gifted a bit of experience. Meanwhile, the buddy system in action here. Cyanide level 3 up against his sOAZ, his level 1 still. Meanwhile, Freddy is about to hit level 2, but it's another good invade coming from Fnatic here. Going with that 4-0 push. It's going to keep on the buddy system, keep on pushing. They can only go for the one golem, of course. One was stolen away by Freddy a moment ago. The
question is, what does SK do to respond? They haven't seen Fnatic's members going for the bottom tower. Aatrox is 1.5 miles away, moving with Svenskeren to this bottom tower, and it actually looks like sOAZ and Cyanide have gone for the counter jungle route instead of the tower. They're going to catch a low health Freddy. He's in trouble.
Freddy comes in. Freddy can just flash across. That's exactly what he had to do. Peke wasn't quite there, but that was a double summoners used by SK.
Massive advantage to Fnatic because of the fact that Peke, when he has Destiny, is going to have 2 targets that he can try to shut down. Not having Flash on Freddy and Svenskeren is going to limit their aggressive plays and open up opportunities for Fnatic to punish them.
Okay, so we've got a difference in playstyle as well between the duo lanes. You can see down the bottom, you just got a glimpse of it. That tower almost down. Fnatic pushing hard on that one. Meanwhile, the top lane, you can see Candy Panda is just freezing the lane out there, holding it still. Hasn't really pushed.
They're going to catch Jesiz.
Jesiz is going to get caught out. Stun card comes in there. It's a good play from nRated though. Here comes the teleport. Freddy's going to join this party. Dark Binding does not land. They can turn it back around. Freddy doesn't quite get the knock up in time. 4 members of SK continue to chase. Svenskeren does land the Sonic Wave, but they don't choose to follow on Cyanide.
Ghost and Flash burned by Peke. It looked like Fnatic had caught SK out, but a very quick response by the teleport on Freddy and landing the skill shots by SK counters the play. So no first blood secured, but very strong start by SK. They've been pretty proactive in response to Fnatic, considering the counter jungling Fnatic put down.
You can see, of course, YellOwStaR still only at level 2, hasn't been absorbing too much of that experience, and nRated in the meantime has been roaming quite heavily. We just saw him around that mid lane there. He was involved in that mid lane fight. He's leaving Candy Panda all on his own in that top lane. In terms of 280 carriers, they've pretty much unhindered both of them. You can see in terms of farm, both doing very well.
Yeah, but you've already pointed out that Rekkles has done a better job at putting damage on that bottom tower. So once Fnatic decide to take the objective down, they will get the experience to gold and they'll open up that portion of the map. You touched on nRated's roaming. This is a trend we have seen from European Thresh players for the last 3 weeks. Threshers are roaming to whichever lane needs more assistance or wants more control. We've been seeing it with top laners. If we look in the mid lane, there are so many members collapsing. SK are looking for a fight here.
There's a party going down, and Jesiz is happy to keep throwing out those bombs towards him. Satchel charges away from YellOwStaR. Dark Binding comes out. Lantern was thrown, wasn't required. And SK going for the invade, taking away the Wraiths, and keeping Fnatic on their toes here in this mid lane.
Yeah, the question is, how much does it hurt Fnatic in the bigger picture? You compare levels in the top laners and junglers, they're even. 80 carries are the same, supports are the same. So even with SK roaming and moving around the map, they're not losing out on CS, they're not losing out on experience, and it's actually Peke that's falling behind. Because of how much time nRated's been in mid, he's losing out on CS, and it looks like they've caught Freddy. He's just going to dark flight to safety.
Yeah, just jumps away from that one, no problems there. As you mentioned, Peke falling behind a little bit. It's a 17 CS differential right now between Jesiz and Peke, so it's a big start. And this is what I talked about with Twisted Fate. As soon as he selected it, he was up against the Ziggs. He's going to be pressured in the lane, and that Destiny is going to be tricky to use when the minions keep pounding on your turret. Yeah,
Kerp in particular, his Ziggs play can 1v1 most Twisted Fates that we've seen. Very good reaction time from YellOwStaR on that Black Shield. But I think, you know, it's always a difficult matchup early on. Once Peke gets some more items and gets some more wave clear power under his belt, he can counter push Ziggs back and obviously can also impact those side lanes through the use of Destiny. But the question is, who pulls the trigger first? Right now, Fnatic, they've showed a very clear focus on shutting down the red buff of SK Gaming. There's multiple members moving to this bottom half of the map.
Yeah, good ward placement from SK there. Gave Vision well ahead of time for that one down the bottom. That means Freddy will not get caught out. Red buff has spawned. We could see a smite fight between the two junglers here. Cyanide is lingering off the side there. We do see just coming around the side. YellOwStaR joins him. YellOwStaR gets hooked in with a death sentence. They tried to slam on towards him. But now Fnatic are going to turn this one around. Peke comes in. Mega Inferno Bomb lands. That is going to be Rekkles with the first kill there on towards Svenskeren.
Very well played by Fnatic. They had SK on the back foot. Even though SK landed the death sentence on YellOwStaR, Fnatic had more members available, and the Destiny from Twisted Fate was very, very impactful in that game. Landing the CC, so red buff stolen, first blood secured, and a dragon. That is a very big swing of control, which is actually somewhat reminiscent of what Fnatic did against SK in the very first game of the summer split 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, we heard sOAZ talking around it. They need to be more decisive in when they make these plays. Get the kills off the back, need to move in, take a advantage, and that's exactly what they've just done. See if they can keep it up though, because this is only the early game. This is where SK generally always fall behind. Only last week was the first time they started to turn it around. And again, you know they're a strong force in the mid game. The fact that they've got a Ziggs in there, in Froggen's own words, he was surprised they managed to beat a Ziggs inside 40 minutes. This could be a long one.
I completely agree. And not only because of Ziggs and, of course, Twisted Fate for the defensive capabilities, but also because neither team necessarily has the strongest engage. If sOAZ and Cyanide are revealed, if SK have got good warding, it means the flanking opportunities are reduced by Fnatic. So the onus is on SK to make sure they have proper warding and make sure they have the information to work with. Now, this is a 3v2 in the top lane, but nRated misses the death sentence and nothing's going to be done.
Yeah, Cyanide is making his way up. Doesn't look like he's needed, as you mentioned. It was a 3v2. They had the number advantage. SK going to continue putting the pressure on. Destiny is not available for Peke, but of course he's being held prisoner in the mid lane by Jesiz.
So I do want to highlight the fact that nRated has played 3 games in a row now on Thresh, and he's definitely improving since the spring split performances. Oh, that's the culling being thrown down just onto YellOwStaR for poke. Sven setting himself up to the mid lane. So SK, they're trying to find something, trying to find an opportunity. SK maybe feeling the pressure of losing that first blood in the dragon. Candy Panda gets away with his life. That was close. You can see Sven, he wants to make something happen. He hasn't been as dominant as he was against Gambit last week, and it's because Fnatic have been invading the jungle. Fnatic have forced SK to respond to Fnatic's movements, and because they're dictating the tempo, they're keeping control of the game. I do feel if they let up, SK have the tools, they have the death sentence, they have the Aatrox, they have the Lee that can regain control and force Fnatic onto the back foot.
Of course, Freddy, with his passive, his Bloodwell, he should be able to 1v1 up against Rekkles for a fair period of time here. Of course, it gives him that safety net once that Blade of the Rune King is built.
Yeah, there's a 2-level deficit though. So theoretically, from a stats perspective, I would probably agree. There's a knock-up, a slow, Freddy's got built-in sustain.
At the moment, there's a big difference,
but yes,
but coming late game,
2 levels between them is a very big problem, and the item difference. I mean, you know, if you compare Rekkles, he's got that Bilgewater Cutlass, he's got his Berserker's Greaves. He's playing a bit safe, a bit risky. There's not enough wards from Fnatic to be pushing that deep. But for the moment, there's full vision on the rest of SK. So we need to see if he gets punished like he was last week.
Yeah, when that Blade of Ruinking gets complete, both of them probably will go for it as well. We'll see Freddy, I'm absolutely certain he will head towards it. Gone for Longsword. Hasn't gone for his traditional triple Doran's Blade, but then again, he's not on a traditional champion right now. Top lane, pressure still on sOAZ, still being forced back, which is giving Freddy a little advantage. We keep seeing YellOwStaR constantly paying visits to this mid lane, wants to land that Dark Binding, wants to get the kills on Jesiz to slow him down.
Yeah, the problem is the defensive capabilities from SK are still very strong. Oh, Rekkles with a cheeky Golem steal. So the only tower that's gone down has been in this bottom lane. And Fnatic, they're diving Freddy. Look at the support they've got from both Evelyn as well as YellOwStaR. If a Dark Binding connects, which it doesn't, Freddy is going to be in trouble, but I think he can Dark Flight to safety.
Side steps in, like I mentioned, he has got the Bloodwell still up, but look at this, SK Gaming, 4 members in the mid lane. Peke taking a fair burst from the culling there. The rest of his team are collapsing in and around SK Gaming. Can they get in towards him? Cyanide puts the ulti, lands on 4 members there. nRated will be the focus target. He's the lowest. Svenskeren gets caught with the Dark Binding. There's the Mega Inferno bomb coming out. It's going to hook on towards sOAZ. Takes a tower hit. Ignite running, but he should be safe, and everybody so far is alive. Rekkles trying to get some rat-a-tat-tat damage down on towards it. Freddy's going to teleport in, but as you mentioned, he's only level 7 right now. He's simply doing defensive duties. SK Gaming trying to go aggressive, got forced back by Fnatic.
If SK Gaming didn't have all of the summoners that they actually have available, they would have gone down. Look down the left-hand side of your screen. Every flash, every heal, exhaust, everything was burned. And SK, I think, were a little lucky to come away from that one. A perfect flank from both Cyanide and sOAZ, hitting multiple members of SK. And that was a very, very good positional play out of Fnatic. They didn't hesitate, and they responded quickly by having the members in the middle lane while drawing SK into their own turret. They managed to make the play work. Destiny's available for Peke, so let's see if he's going to use it. He may be the one that's in a little bit of trouble now from SK.
Takes a bouncing bomb, has the Satchel charge away from YellOwStaR, didn't throw out that Dark Binding, will absorb some of that damage. Peke can avoid that death sentence. We also saw Freddy in that top lane. Remember, he's already used the teleport, just used his ulti as well to keep sOAZ at bay. sOAZ doesn't have teleport either, so this is going to be a 4v4 engage if they go for it. Cyanide and YellOwStaR looking to steal the red.
Yeah, there's something more interesting. Fnatic have got 4 sweepers and a blue trinket. They want to be in SK space like they're doing now.
Rekkles and nRated in all sorts of trouble. That's going to be Peke that manages to secure that kill away from Rekkles.
So the point that I'm trying to make, with 4 sweeping lenses and the Scrying Orb, Fnatic wants to constantly be in SK's jungle, constantly be denying vision, and forcing SK into risky moves. If they can keep making SK, you know, jump in their face or move through the jungle unsafe, it opens up Peke and his Destiny ganks to make even bigger, even flashier plays. So I think it's very smart from Fnatic, but we need to see if they can keep this level of aggression. It's not something we've seen them do at all this split.
Roaming abilities that Twitch offers you is actually opening up avenues for Peke to start looking for kills, and that's exactly what is working out for him. 1-0-1 currently ahead now in CS, and that's a big difference because he fell, what, 17 CS behind it in the early game, but he's managed to gain that ground up. Pink ward being cleared by nRated, almost got caught out again there. You can see Fnatic were gathering, but with the Dragon alive, this is going to be the fight they're looking for.
Yeah, now nRated still does not have access to the box because he's been roaming a little more and has not been sitting in a lane by himself. He doesn't have access to his ultimate, whereas YellOwStaR does with those Soul Shackles. Teleport is not up for Freddy either, and you see sOAZ coming down. So Fnatic instantly with the numbers advantage and the level advantage for the following team fights.
Candy Panda caught out there. They didn't decide to go for it, but there's going to be the Destiny. Peke's deep though. The rest of his team haven't really followed through on this one. Mega Inferno bomb comes in. The death sentence lands, but it doesn't matter. The damage is there. SK Gaming haven't quite got enough to rattle them down, and Fnatic come out with 2 kills. Very lucky, I feel, there. Peke and YellOwStaR so low, but they get the kills.
5 versus 4, and there was no top laner from SK Gaming, so Fnatic were always going to have an advantage. Sven does have Smite available. He's looking for it. We'll see if he's going to go.
He's going to land the Sonic Wave. He's going to run out. He's going to have to go any second now. He's left it too late. Yeah, that's going to be the Dragon. So, tower was picked up by Freddy in that top lane. It wasn't all lost for SK, but it's a good turnaround once again. More kills and another Dragon.
This is what we talked about in the pre-game. Fnatic have the ability to play the map, and they can deal, or they can play like a split push game. But they knew that Freddy had used his teleport, and they punished him for it. Look at your minimap. so many members of Fnatic coming from multiple angles. It's actually very difficult to pull off this sort of pincer type of move, because if SK had got all the damage down into YellOwStaR, instead of playing retreat game, they could have killed him. But they didn't, and even though Peke was hooked, they'd already killed Candy Panda, so no more bombs, no more auto attacks. Fnatic get away from it.
And I'd also question that Mega Inferno bomb. It went directly up to Peke. Yeah, if it just gone a couple of centimeters to the right-hand side, it would have been on 4 members of Fnatic. Could even picked up a kills, could even turn that fight around. Wasn't quite on point though. nRated and YellOwStaR once again going at it. Another Dark Binding lands. YellOwStar starting to find his eye on them, starting to put the damage down. Rekkles. And look at this, the rest of Fnatic all moving in towards the top there. Freddy has to back out.
This has to be the 5th or the 6th time that Fnatic have grouped up to invade SK's jungle. nRated can't even, get his wards down because there's 4 sweeping lenses on the side of Fnatic. They've got a numbers advantage in the top lane, and it does look like they may make a move on the tower, but keep your eyes on Candy Panda. He's pushing the bottom lane as well. So SK even on towers, but they are 4,000 gold down.
Destiny used. That's going to be Peke coming down to the bottom. Purely defensive Destiny this time around. Will wipe out those minions there. Candy Panda fancies putting some damage down. It's a good turret trade, but 2 turret hits is not exactly what Candy Panda wanted there.
No, it really wasn't. Uncharacteristic misplay from Candy Panda, putting himself in turret range and eating that gold card. It was very apparent that Peke was looking for it. Good pink ward place there by SK. Actually, Rekkles ran straight past it. Didn't manage to clear it out. It looks like sOAZ is going to miss it as well. So SK with a good vision game. And if you look at the wards, they also have better vision in the northern half of the map. They have to. SK have been defending the onslaught from Fnatic this entire match, and they can't afford to let up in the vision game, because Fnatic will just keep punishing with those flanks from Shyvana, with the teleport to the Destinies from Peke.
Speaking of punishment, that top lane may start to become a problem. We've seen Aatrox, if he can go strong, if he can get a lot of farm, he can be a beast. He's now built up a 30 CS differential over sOAZ, but of course sOAZ has got a kill, has got 2 assists, has got the 2 dragons all on his side, which is just about keeping him in there in terms of gold. He is a level behind. Candy Panda in this bottom lane, he's being flanked by 2 stealth assassins.
This is going to be so scary for Candy Panda. He does have flash, he does have heal, but I think it's too late. Here comes Rekkles, here comes Cyanide.
And a catch on towards him, Bladed Rune King, insta-pop, rat-a-tat-tat comes down. No doubt about that kill.
Rat-a-tat-tat, and that's a dead Candy Panda. He didn't have the vision in the bottom half of the map. SK had all of the wards in the top half, and Candy Panda is the one that's pushing completely blind. That was just risky. Jesiz is now trying to get zone control in this bottom lane, but when Rekkles is 3-0-2 on Twitch and he can assassinate 4 very squishy champions, this is a scary place for SK Gaming.
Well, we just saw the top lane. We got a brief glimpse of it there. sOAZ having to back away. He can't trade with Freddy. He's now 2 levels behind in that top lane. Freddy continuing to push on the top tower. Meanwhile, Cyanide in the jungle. Once again, Rekkles looking for another kill. Gold card comes out and nRated goes down. Rekkles on a mission now, 4-0-2.
So much vision and so much presence. Fnatic have spent most of their time in SK's jungle, and this is very confident play from them. It's going to allow them a potential siege in this mid lane, but keep in mind the defensive power from SK and the type of composition Fnatic has, they don't necessarily want to tower dive. They want to find a pick, they want to get kills in the jungle, and then take uncontested objectives. For the time being, SK have defended their outer turrets, mostly because Fnatic haven't actually looked to really siege them out.
Yeah, still just that one bottom turret that went very early on for Fnatic, and of course the top one that Freddy's worked himself down. Look at the goal between them though, you can see it's actually sOAZ in the lead, as I thought, because of those global objectives. He has managed to get himself level 10 and is continuing to push a big wave. Mid lane, we see the trade between these 2. Big advantage picked up by Peke now, 2,000 gold over Jesiz.
Yeah, he's farming well, he's got more objectives under his belt, and of course the Twisted Fate passive for gold. So we'll keep our eyes on this Freddy versus sOAZ duel. But I do want to mirror the fact that in game 1 of the split, Fnatic had a 6,000 gold lead, and it was thanks to SK's ability to find picks under towers and responding to Fnatic's pressure in that game that allowed them to win. It was also sOAZ with some questionable plays. He was caught out in the top lane. Right now, SK are being flanked, and we'll see if Fnatic can do anything.
Dark Binding doesn't land. Mega Inferno bomb misses. Jesiz goes down. It's another great flanking move. YellOwStaR, though, gets caught out, hooked him to the tower. Rat-a-tat-tat running from Rekkles. Not going to get the mark this time around. Freddy comes into defensive duties. Probably wasn't needed, but Fnatic again come out, get a kill.
Yeah, Fnatic get the kill. They do trade 1-for-1. Kill lands in Candy Panda shoes, which is very important. But what SK failed to do in that situation was keep Jez is going the same direction. He tried to pull members of Fnatic away from him towards the river. Got punished for it. There's also a teleport down from Freddy. So Fnatic can now leave sOAZ to try and farm up that top lane and try and make up the CS deficit that he's fallen behind. And we'll see if it actually comes to benefit Fnatic.
Dragon due in 15 seconds. We'll see who sets up for that one. It seems, of course, with sOAZ up there, has got that flash teleport available if he wants to join in. Meanwhile, Fnatic, they want to get this middle turret down. That would be a big advantage to make their move on this Dragon.
And that all stems from the kill that they had earlier. They get about 30 to 40% of the tower damage off, and I really feel that if Fnatic do not find picks, they can't challenge for those objectives. Previously, in the 5v4, they got Dragon, now they got Jesiz again.
Jesiz caught out, Satchel charges away, but quickly gets caught up. Now Freddy locked up by another great dart binding. The Lantern used, but surely that means it's another Dragon for Fnatic.
It has to be, because Dragons respawn, Fnatic have had absolute control of it. Not only are they going to get the Dragon in a few minutes, the middle turret goes down, sOAZ is going to get the top turret. This is all stemming from that fight in the mid lane where they baited Freddy to use his teleport. Fnatic are just in absolute control, and there's very little SK can do other than putting more wards up and not being caught. They've been caught so many times already.
Big, big gold difference. This time around, 8,000 gold. Surely they can't mess this one up this time around. Fnatic have a good advantage. 22 minutes into this game, looking strong so far. That mid lane Peke has been roaming around, and it's all been because of this man, honestly, Rekkles. He's been looking for those kills and getting them. 90+% kill participation with his 4-0-3, been involved in almost every move that Fnatic have made.
Yeah, if memory serves, last week, Rekkles was 0-3-0-4 at one point. On Twitch against the Twisted Fate. He had been punished a lot. And this particular game, he's not been under the same pick pressure. So he's been able to roam. He's only a little bit of CS behind Panda, but it doesn't matter when he's got 4 kills. Static Shiv completed. Blade of the Rune King, he's almost got a last Whisper. Fnatic now have the toughest job. What they've been doing in terms of the jungle invades to get the outer turrets is easier than doing the same thing on the inner line of turrets because there's less space between SK's base and the objectives. Rekkles is stealthed up and he's looking for another kill. I think he might get it.
He may get on towards nRated. He's trying to get away with that shield. There's Rekkles. He has the damage now. That's a big, big problem building for SK.
He didn't even use his Blade of the Ruined King. That was just all too easy with the amount of damage he's built up. There's no teleport on Freddy. So Freddy's going to need to back away and come to defend this middle lane. Fnatic looking like they're going to back away. They need to kill Jesiz if they want the tower.
Well, the one big thing, of course, with the Ziggs, you do have fantastic wave clear. Teleport being used by sOAZ has to defend out this top turret from Freddy.
Yeah, so sOAZ now without his teleport means Fnatic may go into a slightly more passive period of play because they're not going to have sOAZ who can respond instantly. And in order for Fnatic to break this inner line of turrets, they need to have very deep vision, and ideally, they need to catch Fnatic on an aggressive push. Last time SK pushed middle lane, Fnatic punished with a flawless flank. And if SK do the same thing without the correct deep vision, they will get punished again. Look at Fnatic's positioning. They're setting themselves up for another engage. sOAZ coming from River, and there's Destiny as well.
Where's he going to go with it? Goes straight in. Mega Inferno Bomb this time does land, but Jesiz gets caught out again. Another fantastic control, really. The Destiny landing on towards them. Cyanide sidesteps the cull in there. SK Gaming can't seem to manage their damage in the right target. They're splitting across. Freddy once again gets himself down there, but again, not in the right place at the right time. And Jesiz, he is being picked on right now in that mid lane.
There is no hesitation from Fnatic at all. Every single time the opportunity presents itself, they are punishing. And I think sOAZ, even though he's down on CS, he has been in exactly the right place his team has needed him. Now SK blue buff is up. Sven, you're in trouble, my friend.
Puts a ping ward down. He was ready for it. Don't think he was ready for the two of them, though. There's going to be the Lantern. They're going to try and turn this one back around. Freddy, meanwhile, is caught out with the dart binding. The chain CC is fantastic so far from Fnatic.
They're landing all of the abilities they need to, and SK managed to defend their blue buff. That's actually very, very important for them. Jesiz has respawned. He should get in range to take this one down. And this is going to, again, just put a slight stall on Fnatic's play. The reason they were able to punish SK in the mid lane a few minutes ago is because of sOAZ reading the situation well, moving down even without teleport, and again, no hesitation. But sOAZ on defensive duty, he's holding off as many objectives as possible. And Fnatic, without kills, can't break those inner turrets. But they've done a phenomenal job of dictating the tempo and pushing SK to the absolute limit.
Thing is, while it is 10-1 in terms of kills and a big gold advantage, still 8,000 gold, SK still have the bottom turret will go down very quickly. The top inner turret will go down very quickly. There's money in the bank already there, whereas Fnatic, they're getting these picks, they're making these plays, but they're struggling to make a dent now that those 8 turrets are starting to go down.
The thing is, it would be the same shoe on the other foot. Even if SK were to get those objectives and Fnatic were to group up for a defense, SK run the risk, if they don't know where Cyanide is, he'll just come in from behind them. He'll come in from the side and punish them. Peke, with the hourglass and the makings of a death cap, he's got an incredible wave clear. So SK are looking in a similar position to find these picks, but because they're so far behind, they need to be 100% certain before they engage. Because of the fact that they're 10k down, 9k down, if they make one misplay, it will cost them inner turrets and maybe inhibitor turrets as well.
Well, we can see Freddy starting to get some of that tankiness built up. The Zoma will be coming out very soon. Meanwhile, sOAZ, his counterpart, you can see full tank build, no problem there. Going to be the man that throws himself into the team fights. Freddy in that mid lane trying to put some pressure down, but not really creating anything at the moment because Fnatic have spread across the map. They've gone with pretty much one in the top, one in the bottom, 2 in the mid, quite easily jungling. They have full control of the map right now.
It's what we expected from them. And the problem that SK have, they don't know where Twitch or Evelyn could be if they don't have those pink wards down, which means if SK ever want to engage on Shyvana in the bottom lane, they know Twisted Fate with Destiny could engage. They don't know where Evelyn is. They don't know where Twitch is. So it means that SK have a difficult time of dealing with the split pushes of Fnatic because they have so many more factors to put into the equation. Cyanide again, looking for another flank. sOAZ could come in from behind the turret. Fnatic, I think they want another fight.
Cyanide looking to come around, but he's going to get spotted a little bit too early this time around. The Dark Binding does land, but it's only on nRated. There's going to be the dead sentence. sOAZ comes around the side, nRated will go down. It's Rekkles with yet another. sOAZ tanking out the turret, and again, look at the map. Freddy on the top lane, not with his team. He may get the turret though, so it's an objective for death. Objective
for death is something SK will be happy about, and I wasn't anticipating Fnatic to go for that confident of a tower dive. Props to Svenskeren. He interrupted the Dragon's descent. It's not over. Bye, Jesiz.
Jesiz going to go down here. He's getting sidestepped around the side there. Flash is out. They managed to turn it back around. Peke goes down. He will eventually die. And now Candy Panda's in trouble. He needs the help from his top laner, who is also backing away. Candy Panda's rushing away from this one. He's got a lot of damage. He's still got that Triforce and Bloodthirster. May be able to dash out of the danger here. Cyanide collapsing around. Cyanide's got to be careful. Doesn't manage to land the double tap. Will just dash through to the Baron pit.
So he manages to get away with his life. The rest of Fnatic are trying to push through the middle lane. The trade ends up being a 2-for-1. Very importantly, the bonus gold from Peke's killing spree has gone over to SK, so it's going to start closing that gold gap. But I think Fnatic are looking to grab themselves another uncontested dragon. Props to Jesiz as well. He did flash into the middle of the fight. Peke tried that sort of Messiah-style move, Destiny in, instant hourglass, and SK just collapsed on him like a ton of bricks. Managed to grab their second kill of the game, but it is still a very grim situation for SK Gaming. They are far from looking like they can turn this control around, but Fnatic are now in a position super hot crew were last week, 2 weeks ago. Fnatic need to find those kills deeper in the jungle to get on the inhib turrets, because barring that previous tower dive, Fnatic have actually not touched an inner turret for a very long time.
Yeah, they've not really got any damage on it whatsoever. Despite the fact they've been focusing Jesiz so hard, they're taking away that wave clear, they haven't been able to put pressure on. Now that Freddy's taking down that top inner turret, he'll probably rotate around in the moment. He's going to cover off sOAZ, and then of course that bottom outer turret. Very low on health already, which we see Rekkles going down there. He's going to get himself that wave clear in. So Fnatic are in the driving seat, but SK do not count them out. Late game is where they excel, despite the fact they're 11,000 gold behind. These tight fights are very, very close. nRated's dead.
Well, here comes Destiny. I think he's right.
Yeah, not getting out of that one.
So that was the problem we talked about. Shyvana was split pushing top. Oh, YellOwStaR might go down as well.
Oh, they're going to try and catch on towards him. Now Svenskeren and Candy Panda trying to make some plays there. Freddy's also coming around the side, but this is all leaving the bottom lane open to Rekkles, who's just continuing to push.
So this is the power of Fnatic's comp. The moment SK tried to deal with sOAZ in that split push, Evelyn comes out of the sideline, Destiny is used. What it does mean is that SK, if they are feeling confident, they can make an aggressive play on Fnatic, knowing that that ability is no longer available to them. Candy Panda's trying to deal with Rekkles in the bottom lane. We'll see who gets this blue buff. It does go to Jesiz. So good blue buff control. The previous two have gone to SK Gaming, and they've pushed Fnatic away, which just means Jesiz can continue to wave clear and defend.
Close your eyes if you've got nRated on your fancy team. 0-6-1 is not going very much his way so far. SK feeling confident, clearing out that mid lane. They don't want to push too far past the river, though. You can see Rekkles rejoining his team, but they are all starting to back off, spend some of that well-earned gold. Double Randy and Zoma now stacked in, sOAZ and Cyanide stacking them. And you talked about earlier, of course, the Death Cap, and Zhonya's now completed for Peke, along with that bench, which we started out with. Rekkles, he's a monster, 6-0-6. Blade of the Rune King, Static Shiv, Last Whisper, and it looks like an Infinity Edge is going to get stacked on top of that.
This is my favorite game that I've seen Fnatic play all split long, because from the 12th minute, they had that Scrying Orb and they had 4 sweeping lenses. They have been playing the map exquisitely. They have denied and strangled every resource SK have had. And the moment SK have made any play, pushing a tower or looking to go challenge Dragon, Fnatic have been ruthless in their initiations. The problem is, their comp does very well when they have space to work with. And as they are funneling more and more and more towards SK's base, closer to those inhibitor turrets, they have less tools to play with. They have less space to find those flanks. sOAZ has bitten off more than...
sOAZ caught out, kicked straight back into SK. He doesn't manage to land the death sentence. The play is there, and they quickly realize they're in trouble. Freddy, meanwhile, he's been caught out. He's trying to interrupt this Baron. He gets around the side, but the Baron is continuing. You can see Cyanide and Rekkles double teaming this one. The rest of SK Gaming to close it in. Remember, the Mega Inferno Bomb, if they're stuck in that pit, is a danger. They've all seen Kurt making that play. Freddy caught with the Dark Binding. SK forced them out.
So Fnatic again forcing SK's hand. Had Svenskeren not kicked sOAZ away from the death sentence, may have been a kill. Rekkles is looking for nRated.
Oh, is he going to get caught out? No! That's going to be the Zhonya's. Is it enough? Peke's going to come out of this one. The culling is bad from SK. It doesn't quite land in the right place. Peke does get nRated down. Freddy's Bloodwell pops. Now he's going to go down as well. That's surely the Baron for Fnatic.
That's going to be the Baron. They do still have to deal with the poke of Jesiz, but he's on such low HP. We didn't see Peke teleporting behind the SK members, using that Zhonya's Hourglass just perfectly. It's not over yet. Candy Panda's got a lot of HP, but they caught him.
Has the dash away, gets caught with the stun, and just look at the damage going raining down on towards him. Jesiz off the side though, he's taken Fnatic low. This is still a dangerous Baron, and they realize it. They're going to have to sidestep it there. Svenskeren trying to keep vision away. It stopped Fnatic doing Baron for now.
So that's actually still a trade that SK will be happy with. They lost Candy Panda, but they prevented Fnatic getting the Baron. Fnatic, all in all, grab themselves 3 kills, and they force SK's hand. Because Fnatic can no longer push down the waves and catch SK out of position in the lanes, they force SK to come to them. They start Baron, they bait, they reel SK Gaming in, and then they just peel and punish. Destiny is going to be available very soon. Peke is using it absolutely perfectly, and it is allowing Fnatic just all of the room in the world to do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Remember, Fnatic has some tough games this week. SK Gaming chasing Alliance at the top of the table, will not want to lose this match because they're going to fall maybe some ground to them. At the moment, it is Fnatic in full control, though. Look at the gold. You can see giant advantage to Fnatic in that 17-2 kill count, which everybody playing solo queue would absolutely love to see. nRated caught out this time around. YellOwStaR uses his ulti, but nobody's going to follow up. Here comes Peke. Peke gets locked in. Jesiz goes down. Mega Inferno Bomb hits absolutely nothing, and that is SK getting wiped off the map. Svenskeren again locked up. Peke does go down. It is a 1-for-1 trade, and you got to wonder how the hell nRated got out of that one. Svenskeren absolutely will not get out of it. That is the Baron. Jungler's down.
Yeah, 8-0. Not only Baron, but the only member that can really interrupt SK being that Ziggs just means that Fnatic are going to secure themselves another massive objective. With the Baron buff, I think they're going to be confident enough to tower dive with the massive gold lead that they've built up. And again, SK just out of position. I mean, they were moving up the middle lane. They weren't even really past their river. And Fnatic just pounce and punish them. SK finally going to touch a dragon. This should go to them before Fnatic can get there, but it is a minute victory considering how far down they are. And again, it's just all about Fnatic. I don't think I've seen the team responding so quickly to weakness or to opportunity as they have today.
Well, as you mentioned, first dragon of the game for SK does give them a little bit of gold, but you can see it's going to be that turret going down. Jesiz is not going to be able to clear this one. He can't get too close to it. There's too many stealth champions. Or are they? Freddy comes in. Teleport used. It does mean that tower will get defended for now, but remember, a Baron up Fnatic is a problem. Blue buff has been fought over a number of times. Jesiz will not want to let this one go. It's so important to that Mega Inferno Bomb cooldown. sOAZ at the side, though, is going to pull it away. Yeah,
so first time that Fnatic have got this blue buff in about 12 to 14 minutes. They were unable to secure the previous, even though they attempted to go for it. But you know what? I think they're happy. If you look at these item thresholds, Randian's Banshee, Sunfire on sOAZ, he's got no damage, but he doesn't need damage because Cyanide, Peke, and Rekkles are just so far ahead. They can close the game out. As long as sOAZ is running amok and keeping SK sort of peeled and disorganized by those flanks, by those Dragon's Descents, then Rekkles is going to melt them. Static Shiv, IE, and Phantom Dancer, there is nobody on SK that can really contain him unless they have a numbers advantage. And, you know, Fnatic may even die Freddy here.
Yeah, Freddy's in trouble. He needs to back away. Bloodwell is back up, but the rest of Fnatic are closing the gap. Dead Sentence thrown out does not land. Cyanide was covered off by Candy Panda and nRated. But again, Fnatic get themselves another turret, the fourth on the board. Still equal with SK in terms of turrets, but with this Baron, they're starting to create advantages.
Yeah, Freddy wasn't able to defend alone. You need the wave clear of Jesiz in order to hold these towers. And the moment Jesiz exposes himself or puts himself in a lane, Fnatic just throw everything they can at him. The moment Jesiz goes down, SK will be completely unable to defend a tower. You can, of course, say the Culling can hold off for at least one wave, but generally, he is the key to Fnatic getting deeper on SK's jungle.
Scrying Hope used the Wraith blocking out that Dark Binding, which almost certainly could have led to a kill as Rekkles was ready to pile on in. Bottom lane turret is the next focus target. Fnatic roaming on down towards that one. SK Gaming a little slow to react here, holding off the mid and not being persuaded just yet.
Yeah, and the problem as well, because SK have got very limited deep vision, even if they go through their own jungle, they need to be so careful. You see Freddy split away from the team. Jesiz and Candy Panda, you know, they're in mid lane, so if Fnatic were to just really go hard in this bottom inner turret, they could get it without an SK carry being there to defend. It looks like that's the plan.
Well, Svenskeren, nRated, and Freddy are in defensive duties. Freddy will clear out those minions, but sOAZ is just tanking it out. Now that Rekkles is with them, the rest of SK have to rotate around. It's leaving Peke in the mid lane, but of course, Destiny is up. Baron buffers run out now for Fnatic, but they still have the presence, the pressure to keep on pushing. sOAZ happy to tank that one out. We do see the Black Shield stopping out that death sentence, and Fnatic just walk on through, and suddenly the wave clear is not an issue. They can tank the turrets.
Yeah, they're going to be able to. The Baron's actually got about a minute left before it does timeout, and that's given Fnatic the confidence. They haven't sieged or they haven't been on the towers until they've got this objective. If you look at the bouncy bomb, that's still good damage on Rekkles, but they need multiple. They need Lee, Aatrox, and Ziggs to get on Rekkles at the same time. And while they commit to that, it will allow Fnatic to get the inner turret in the mid lane, which is now where they're turning their attention.
Don't step around the outside of your base because there's many members of Fnatic waiting. sOAZ happy to just tank down this turret. He's got a lot of damage now, of course. That Bilgewater Cutlass on there. This middle wave clear is not really working out. And again, it's another turret. This time around, Rekkles tanking that one down. sOAZ does step away eventually. That mid lane, bottom inhib turret will not go down.
No, the Fnatic now... who am I kidding? Fnatic have been in complete control this entire game. They have denied SK every single resource that they've tried to secure, and barring a few blue buffs, which SK grabbed in the mid game, Fnatic have just strangled the life out of them. Now, in terms of getting over the final hurdle, in terms of actually winning this game, Fnatic need to pull SK to multiple lanes. If they can have sOAZ forcing the bottom or the top lane and allow the rest of Fnatic to siege up the middle, use the poke that they've got from Twisted Fate and maybe the Lichbane, which he has got. It'll work out, and we'll see if Drake's going to die.
nRated, Candy Panda, everyone caught out in the mid lane. Candy Panda does get away. Svenskeren's at the back. He can safeguard to nRated, and they do manage to avoid the danger this time around, but that was another flash heal build for Candy Panda, but it's enough to keep him safe. Yeah. Freddy comes in defensive duties, and Peke with that Lichbane now built up, doing yet more damage to those turrets. This is going to be tough for SK to defend.
That was the flash, the heal, and the exhaust burn from SK Gaming. So once Fnatic get their ultimates available, it won't take too much longer. They will be able to just reinitiate that fight, get the kills, and then go for those objectives. So Fnatic opting to look for picks before they look to split push. And I guess that is also smart, because if you do go for that split push, you open yourself up to SK finding a Death Sentence or a Sonic Wave type of play that could give them kills and maybe break that 8-0-8 killing spree that Rekkles has built up. sOAZ is on a killing spree of himself. There's a lot of bonus gold to be had if SK can make the kills happen.
Of course, Peke 100% confident to go in with that Zhonya's Hourglass on him now. No doubt he can just go and do the damage. There's the Lich Bane getting him the blue buff with the help of Cyanide. Mid lane waves continue being cleared. This is down to Fnatic to try and break the siege now.
Yeah, it really is. And Fnatic with a GA on Cyanide and just the ridiculous amount of tank stats that sOAZ has built up have got the ability to tower dive as well. I mean, sOAZ on Shyvana has got 298 armor before he goes into Dragon's Descent form. He's got himself a Bilgewater Cutlass. He's going to get his Blade of the Ruined King. So if he jumps onto Candy Panda, he's actually going to be able to run down Candy Panda, zone him from a fight, and deal with him 1v1. So Fnatic, 20,000 gold in the lead. 40 minutes, they've got a Baron to their name. It should be respawning in the next minute or two. It looks like they're going to be maybe playing another Baron base. Actually, 30 seconds before Baron base.
Well, you know, if you're in the fantasy and of course have Fnatic in your team and you're looking at these stats, you'll be happy for this game to keep on continuing, just like I am against Freak. YellOwStaR doing a fantastic job for me there on Fnatic as well as a team. But overall, Fnatic, they've just been in full control. This is what we talked about. SK so often struggle in the early game, but generally managed to reel it back in. But because they got caught out, assassinated so many times, it's just not happened this time around. Baron respawned, Fnatic are in position to go for it.
Really concerted effort to control from the laning phase. Once Fnatic got those kills, they used the champions to continue to invade. Baron is available. SK are a little split up and they're so far down on gold, they can't afford to get caught. It looks like Fnatic, they have the option to go for an engage. sOAZ is not the man you want.
No, you don't want a death sentence on there. Freddy's trying desperately to pull anyone towards him. That's some good damage on Rekkles. Gets kicked straight back in towards it. Rekkles goes down. Freddy now going to get focused on towards it. He do manage to see that's going to be a kill on towards Jesiz. Jesiz going to get locked out. Cyanide's next focused in. Cyanide's got that GA. It's going to get popped out there. nRated low. Peke's going to come back around the side. He's back in there. Freddy pounces on towards him. Blood well used. The rest of his team are needed to come around here, or he's just going to be the sacrificial lamb. I don't understand why they're not chasing him down. Why were they not helping Freddy out?
Sven was too low on HP. Had he been there, he would have gone down as well. Unfortunately, because of the indecisiveness, Candy Pan is going to drop. That is a 1 for 4. And if xPeke had not dived the backline for Jesiz so hard, that could have been very, very different. Jesiz was forced away from the fight, as was Peke. But SK putting up a strong team fight, considering they are 20,000 gold down. Pay very careful attention to how Peke is going to use his Destiny to go for Jesiz, and this is just going to become this cluster of 4v4, and you know, them focusing each other out. We didn't actually see how Peke got the kill. Wow, that burst. But again, same story. Had Jesiz gone into the fight and put some more bouncing bombs on this cluster, it could have worked out. nRated, the good death sentence, catches Peke over the GA of Cyanide, Candy Pan and Sven, the forward to back away. So unfortunately for Freddy, he just got left to the wayside. There's not a whole lot you can do about that.
Yeah, Freddy is the man that makes the calls for SK. Obviously was the one that said, I am the sacrificial lamb, along with the rest of my team that's going to get caught out. Candy Panda, you got to argue, maybe should have got away earlier. You talked about if sOAZ can get on him, he's in trouble. We saw it right there. Svenskeren may well be in trouble himself here. If he comes around that corner, Dark Binding does not land. There's the Lantern that's going to get them to safety.
Destiny?
Just right now, Destiny is going to go in there. They're going straight for Baron. They're going to get it.
There's no Mega Inferno Bomb, so steal potential is mitigated. Easy, easy Baron for Fnatic. They've got so much damage, and now it looks like they still want to fight. sOAZ can jump in there with his Descent.
So confident going 1v5 there, no doubt about.
Even stands and dances.
Yeah,
gets his boogie on.
Gives a little boogie to SK. This has got to feel good for Fnatic, as I mentioned. They went 3-1 in the league during the spring split. It was not a game they often won, but this time around they are looking so strong in the league. 23-4, and of course, at 4-4, this is an important victory for Fnatic if they can get it.
It's a very big turning point for them in terms of their play style. Just the way in which they've made use of the jungle invades and the invisible Evelyn and the invisible Twitch is just, it really is phenomenal. So we do see the Fnatic, they've got all the way down. Oh, they've caught Cyanide!
They've caught Cyanide out, but they can't follow up on it, and there is Peke taking down that tower. So much burst damage on them cards right now, taking out those turrets. sOAZ happy to just tank on through this one while the rest of his team cause problems. The knock-up not there because the Banshees failed doing enough. That's the mid lane inhibitor going down to Fnatic as they continue putting pressure on. This turret's going to go down. Look at that. Peke and Rekkles combined just destroy that turret where it stands. SK Gaming desperately trying to cause a fight here, but they've got nothing. Svenskeren's going to get locked up there. Nobody helping out with the safeguard, continues to get locked up. But Fnatic, they don't want to fight. They're just taking the turrets and inhibs.
Yeah, they're taking the objectives, which is what their focus has been. We do see Destiny coming out. We'll see if Peke is going to go aggressive. He's going to use it just for information. This is the first time that Fnatic have successfully done that split push, where they left sOAZ in the top lane because Freddy was not on the front line. Freddy wasn't able to actually help in defending that mid turret, and it just allowed Fnatic to get super minions. So with Baron, with super minions, this is all this is a dead candy.
Candy Panda comes around the corner. There's a goal! God, no, is he going to take him? No, he gets away. Didn't really have the vision just around the corner. Candy Panda, well, he's got to give nRated a hug for saving him on that one.
There's so much damage from Peke. Void Soft, Deathcap, Lichbane, I mean, that's a fully stacked mid lane, a 9-11. Rekkles on the other side, I mean, he can insta-gib anybody as well. Fnatic have got the damage to back up anybody they catch out. And unfortunately for SK, they've been caught out 23 times this game, which is resulting in just decimation from Fnatic's side. I mean, YellOwStar's even grabbed himself and needs a large rod. You know your team's doing well when you've got Mikhail's Crucible, Locker the Ancillary, and a needlessly large rod on your support Morgana.
Candy Panda needs to sort that cough out. I keep looking in the bottom corner, seeing him moving that microwave, coughing away, so hope he recovers soon. At the moment, though, Fnatic continuing. Just that bottom inhibitor turret is up. Of course, the inhibitor didn't get taken down in that top lane yet, so it may be a focus. You can see sOAZ in there. He's giving it some poke, giving it some...
The moment they commit to sOAZ, the rest of Fnatic are just going to get the bottom inhib turret.
Oh, Jesiz is the only one defending it as well. Three-man focus on towards sOAZ. Desperately trying to keep on towards him. Rekkles will get some poke in there. sOAZ taking very low on this one. Does quickly just flash away. And again, safe.
That's the third or fourth time we've seen Candy Panda's culling not really anticipating his opponent's movements. He has not been on point this game. And case in point, when he got caught out in the bottom lane, he was overextended. He got punished for it. Unfortunately, because of SK's individual weaknesses in this game, they've really been falling further behind. And Fnatic, you can't take anything away from them. They've just had such a great control game. The moment sOAZ gets the inhibitor, Fnatic will go for the tower again.
Candy Panda is going to try and keep him away, but now with a GA complete for sOAZ, I'm not sure Candy Panda wants his fight. Peke's going to come in, has to flash away, gold card, and it's a two-shot victory for Peke.
Death Fire Grasp has been secured in place of the Athene's Unholy Grail. That should be the game for Fnatic. They're going to get the inhibitors and they're going to be on the Nexus.
Yeah, that's the third inhib going down. Rekkles will take that one down. The Nexus turrets will not hold any defensive duties. Freddy dives in, just trying to desperately get something from this one. Mega Inferno Bomb. Everybody from SK bomb rushing in towards Fnatic, but it's all just to naught because they're just going to drop straight down again. Peke gets himself another. It's a 10-1-10 rat, a 10-2-13. Peke in that mid lane. 19 assists for YellOwStaR. Fantastic performance. Fnatic absolutely dominating that game. It took them 48 minutes to close it out, but it was a solid, solid victory.
Mind-boggling control. From the opening minutes of that game, they made a very, very clear statement that they were going to be controlling SK Gaming's jungle and getting in their faces. And I don't think I've ever seen a team that decisive with non-engaged champions. I mean, Shyvana and Evelyn were in SK's face every single time they could.
3-0-15 for sOAZ, 3-0-15 for Cyanide. These are all fantastic stats, and with what? 27 kills overall, 23 of them involving Peke. This time, Twisted Fate worked out perfectly for him. And we talked about it at the start, and it was Rekkles. Rekkles was roaming, starting to create the play, and it just gave basically 3 assists or kills for Peke just to come in, assist his AD carry, and these two carries just dominated the game.
It's what we talked about in the pregame, how the Twisted Fate needed to get good ultimates in order to allow those flanks. Needed to get good Destiny ganks to get control for Twitch, for Shyvana. Now, he didn't need to go directly to the lane, because what Fnatic did to circumvent that laning phase is they forced SK to react. They forced SK into positions where they needed to group up early. And because they grouped, they're just like, well, Evelyn and Shyvana just happened to be really good against grouped enemies.
And you got to wonder, really, how many times people will caught out. And Fnatic are very good at getting a pick comp. That is probably the tactic that works best for Fnatic, in my opinion. They are very good at basically ganking people out, hiding in bushes, catching someone out. But you've got a question. I mean, obviously, ward control was a problem because they had 4 sweeping lenses so early on. But every single time it was nRated or Jesiz just a little too far out of position in lane.
So the thing is, In the early game, SK's wards were fantastic. They had much better vision than Fnatic did. But I do think they weren't anticipating that speed at which Fnatic engaged on them, because they had very good vision in the top half of the map. The problem is there was a decision mistake, because vision was top, Candy Panda's pushing bottom. You're like, why? What was the thinking? You weren't aware of where people were. And what Fnatic did very well is they forced SK into positions where they couldn't commit to that same level of vision. And once they couldn't commit to the same level of vision, their composition just punished harder and harder and harder.
So is this the